إليك إله الخلق أرفع رغبتي، وإن كنت يا ذا المن والجود مجرما، ولما قسى قلبي وضاقت مذاهبي، جعلت الرجاء مني لعفوك سلما.
جزاك الله. Assalamu alaikum. I call on Maulana Qari Hafiz Faizul Rahman of Pakistan, presently based at Darul Uloom Chatsworth, Unit 7, to recite the Qur'an. Jazakallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر أنا أرسلنا الشياطين على الكافرين ألم تر أنا أرسلنا الشياطين على الكافرين تؤزهم أزا فلا تعجل عليهم إنما نعد لهم عدا يوم نحشر المتقين إلى الرحمن وفدا ونسوق المجرمين يوم نحشر المجرمين يوم نحشر المتقين إلى الرحمن وفدا ونسوق المجرمين إلى جهنم وردا لا يملكون الشفاعة إلا من اتخذ عند الرحمن عهدا. وقالوا اتخذ الرحمن ولدا. وقالوا اتخذ الرحمن ولدا. لقد جئتم شيئا إدا. تكاد السماوات يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال. يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال هدا أن دعوا للرحمن ولدا. وما ينبغي للرحمن أن يتخذ ولدا. وما ينبغي للرحمن أن يتخذ ولدا. صدق الله العظيم. وبلغنا رسوله النبي رؤوف رحيم.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah Malana. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected Satan, and I begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Respected ulama, respected elders, brothers and sisters, it is a privilege for me to welcome you and to introduce to you our chairman for today, a promising and successful young man. In fact, Islam requires us to be successful. 5 times a day in the azan, the call to prayer, Allah reminds us to come to prayer, come to success. And this successful young man is Muhammad Salim Khan. He is a lawyer, an academic, and a lecturer at the University of Durban, Westville. His faculty is law. Brothers and sisters, I'd like you to meet our chairman, Brother Muhammad Salim Khan. Brother Salim.
Thank you. Peace be upon you and the mercy of God. This, translated into Arabic, reads, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, that this symposium is God ordained is indisputable by all those who believe in God. This begs the question, why are we present here? Why is it that of the millions of people in this world, you in particular have been destined to attend this symposium? The definite answer to that question rests with Allah alone. However, this does not preclude us from questioning, from inquiring, in order to establish the purpose of your attendance here this afternoon. For it is only through serious inquiry, positive questioning, can one aspire to enlightenment and thence appreciate the greatness of our Creator. To my mind, ladies and gentlemen, and I submit this respectfully, we are here this afternoon to be educated and possibly to educate. The path to education is one paved with humility. In order to aspire to any great heights in education, in any facet or in any sphere, one must be able to acquire certain characteristics. Firstly, one must be able to shed off the bondage of skepticism. One must be able to shed off the bonds of subjectivity. One must be able to analyze issues objectively. Ladies and gentlemen, that objectivity is important, is trite. However, immaterial how compelling an argument is, if a person does not want to accept, if he does not want to accept a conversion of his ideas or beliefs, he will not be converted. For Allah clearly indicates in the Holy Quran that it is for Him to convert ideas, it is for Him to convert ideals. I'm not suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, that one should reject or abandon one's innate beliefs. What I'm merely submitting is that one should not allow one's innate beliefs and one's subjectivity to prevent one from analyzing someone else's belief, from analyzing someone else's argument, even if ultimately it resulted in the rejection of this other person's argument. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a gathering, a symposium of goodwill. It is a coming together of different religions, Islam, Christianity, and possibly aspects relating to Judaism. That these religions are similar begs of no doubt. They are like peas in the same pod, yet they are characterized by certain differences. It is hoped that in symposiums of this nature, in conferences and in discussions, there will be a resolve effectuated to these differences. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasant task of being chairman this afternoon. It is indeed our privilege to have with us this afternoon our very own Mr. Ahmed Deedat, an eminent scholar of religion, a person who is responsible for a number of publications, an author of publications, a person of international repute, one who has especially in recent days acquired great renown. It is also our privilege to have a visitor from Canada who will be introduced to yourselves in due course. He too is a very prominent personality, one whose reputation precedes him, and we shall have the benefit of his knowledge this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Mr. Ahmed Deedat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you all. Mr. Chairman and brethren, Bodley, B-O-D-L-E-Y, Bodley, the American, in his book, The Messenger, he gives the relative strength of two of the mightiest religious forces on earth today, those of Islam and Christianity. He doesn't give us figures. He does not tell us that the Muslims today number 1,000 million and the Christians 1,200 million. But what he says is that these Muslims and Christians who are competing for the allegiance of mankind, that he says, that there are more professing Christians in the world than professing Muslims. Meaning that the number of people who tick off on census forms as Christians, there will be more of that than those who tick themselves off as Muslims. That there are more professing Christians in the world than professing Muslims. But, he says, there are more practicing Muslims in the world than practicing Christians. If I said this on my own account, blowing my own trumpet would not have carried much weight. It makes me happy to quote an outsider, an American and a Christian at that. What is really the difference between Islam and Christianity? I may share with you that Islam is the only non-Christian faith which makes it an article of faith for its followers to believe in Jesus. No Muslim is a Muslim if he does not believe in Jesus. What he is made to believe is that Jesus Christ was one of the mightiest messengers of God. He is made to believe that he was the Messiah. He is made to believe that he was born miraculously without any male intervention, which many modern day Christians do not believe today. And he is made to believe, the Muslim is made to believe that Jesus Christ, he gave life to the dead by God's permission, and he healed those born blind and the lepers by God's permission. He gets all this from his book of authority, the Holy Quran. It is your privilege to get one. The MYM bookstall in the corner there, they are selling them for 5 rands each. 2,000 pages, an encyclopedia of 2,000 pages for 5 rands each. You will agree with me, this is very, very cheap. And if you can't afford it, Muslim as well as non-Muslim, you can write to the Islamic Propagation Center and tell us that, look, I'm earning 500 rands a month, but I can't afford a Quran, and you will get one by return post. Tell us why we should give you one for nothing. I'm not talking about the cultists, the born-again missionary. Look, he must pay for it as we have to pay for the Bibles from the Bible house. But I'm talking about the general public. If you're interested in knowing the Quran and if you can't afford it, write for one and get one free. Now the points of real difference. What are the only points of real differences between the Muslim and the Christian is this, are these. Number one, the Muslim says that Jesus is not God. Number two, the Muslim says that Jesus is not the begotten Son of God because God does not beget. The Muslim says that God is not a triune God because there is no such thing as 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. The Muslim says that Jesus Christ was not killed nor crucified and hence he was not resurrected. There is no such thing as a resurrection. These are points of real differences between the Muslim and the Christian. But believe me, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, that this wide gulf between the Muslim and the Christian, between Islam and Christianity, is being rapidly bridged. The Christians are coming towards Islam. I'm not talking about the cultists. I'm talking about the learned men of Christianity, who are described in the Holy Quran in these beautiful words. I'm quoting from Surah Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 85. It says, وَلَتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى. And nearest to them, among them in faith, in love, and nearest among them in love to the believers, to the Muslims, will thou find those who say, we are Christians. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ مِنْهُمْ كِسِّيسِينَ, because amongst them are men devoted to learning. Among the Christians, says the Holy Quran, are men devoted to learning. وَرُهْبَانٌ, and men who have renounced the world. وَأَنَّهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ, and people who are not arrogant. Abdullah Yusuf Ali, the commentator of this translation which I was showing it to you, in his note number 789 on this verse comments. He says, the meaning is not that they call themselves Christians, but they are such sincere Christians that they appreciate Muslim virtues, as did the Abyssinians, to whom Muslim refugees went during the persecution in Mecca. They would say, it is true we are Christians, but we understand your point of view, and we know you are good men. Abdullah Yusuf Ali concludes that these Christians, they are Muslims at heart. That these Christians, they are Muslims at heart, never mind whatever label they apply for themselves. And I can give you many examples from history of this type of good learned men among the Christians. But time is short, so let me give you some brief references from recent times. Number one, in the Time magazine, July 15, 1974, there were a series of essays under the heading, Who are History's Great Leaders? And among the contributors, there is one, James Gavin, described as a retired commander-in-chief of the American Army. This James Gavin, in his list of the greatest leaders, he says, number one, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And number two, he puts his own Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, number two. Then, in America again, an American by the name of Michael H. Hart of the Hart Publishing Company, described as an astronomer and a mathematician. This man, he writes a book of 572 pages, giving the most influential men in history from the time of Adam up to current times. And in his list of 100 most influential men, he puts the Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, number one. And surprisingly, he puts his own Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, number three. Then that is going a bit far. Coming back to our own country, the charming Bill Chalmers, he will be on TV tonight, on what is called Cross Questions. He will be on TV tonight. This Bill Chalmers, at the end of a lively debate on the subject of Islam and Christianity, the very subject of this afternoon's discussion. It was on SABC TV, Islam and Christianity. He commented at the end of the talk in these charming words.
Well, I think it can be said from this discussion that there is, at present, somewhat more accommodation on the Islamic side for the founder of Christianity than there is on the Christian side for the founder of Islam. What the significance of that is, we leave it to you, the viewer, to determine. But I do hope you will agree with us that it's a good thing that we are talking together.
Good. He said, I think it can be said from this discussion, referring to the discussion on TV, that there is at present somewhat more accommodation on the Islamic side for the founder of Christianity than there is on the Christian side for the founder of Islam. That there is more tolerance, there is more compassion on the Islamic side for Jesus Christ than there is on the Christian side for the founder of Islam. He said, what the significance of that is, we leave it to you, the viewer, to determine. But I do think you will agree with me that it is a good thing that we are talking together. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, you are all privileged to see that videotape of that meeting, Islam and Christianity, that great debate that took place on TV. You are privileged to see that tape absolutely free of charge on VHS or Betamax, whatever you choose, whatever format, absolutely free of charge. If you want to see it, you can see it. You can get it from the propagation center. But you will have to put with us 25 rand security deposit. Because after giving this tape to you, we haven't got the manpower to start running behind you to find out where you are with this tape. So you leave with us 25 rand security. After a week, you return it and take your money back in full. We don't hire it, we will lend it to you. And on this program, you will see something more than what Bill Chalmers tells you. You see, you will find on this tape the reason why Bill Chalmers says, that there is more sympathy from the Islamic side than there is on the Christian side towards Islam. You will find a classical example of a sickness. You see, there is a current sickness prevailing among the Christians of the world. They call it a born again. It's a cult that has been created recently, where they now say that, look, previously with the disciples of Jesus, they had the Spirit with them, but now they say we have it in us. The Spirit is in them, inside, fills them up. And I had one of these sick person coming to my office, wanting to share this sickness with me. I asked him, now you have the Spirit in you? He said, yes. I said, it permeates every fiber of your being. He said, yes. So I said, you can't be tempted. If the Spirit of God fills you up, is there room for the devil to get in? He says, no. So I said, you can't be tempted. He says, no. So I said, congratulations. Congratulations. I said, you're greater than your own God. You're greater than your own Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ was tempted by the devil and you can't be tempted.